Welcome, Traveler. Monk was already top tier, but with recent changes it has ascended above and beyond. And that's all thanks to unarmed hollow palm technique you get with level 14, frozen locus from level 1 on, and the shattering palm to explode whole screens. With these changes, the monk level experience has drastically improved. You don't have to swap to a bow anymore to do lightning arrow. Nah, quarterstaff all the way and then not quarterstaff even further longer the way. And I'm here to break it all down for you from level 1 to 65. First, let's get started with the unarmed techniques, the hollow palm. What makes it so good? First, you can attack as though using a quarterstaff. I got no weapon equipped, but I can simply ice strike out. I can use Shattering Palm, quarterstaff skill, Tempest Bell, and we can use our charge staff on our hands together with the frozen locust. Then, your physical damage is based on their skill level. Instead of now scaling with whatever your quarterstaff does, it's just down to what actual level your skill is. And interesting enough, in Act 1, it instantly bumps you up by 100 DPS. I already had a good quarterstaff. I, at level 14, equip Hollow Palm, pull my quarterstaff out, 100 more DPS. And I didn't even have to find a better one. And that just gets better and better down the line. Simply having gloves with 5 to 8 fire, 1 to 19 lightning is currently 500 more damage. And that's thanks to, obviously, the support gems, but also what the Hollow Palm technique does. On top, we will get attack speed and critical hit chance according to how much energy shield we have on all our armor and how much evasion rating we have. Right now, I'm already sitting at 800 evasion rating, and that would be an increase of 32% attack speed. I wouldn't have a quarterstaff with 32% increased attack speed at that given point. Not even by a long shot. Hollow Palm significantly changes the flow through the campaign. You're not looking for better staffs anymore. At this point, you're just looking for better gloves with flat damage and rings with flat damage. And you're just flying through, pummeling them with your fists. And in order to make that fist punching smoother, we have the frozen locus from the very beginning on. It's this ice crystal that you punch and it explodes outwards. Formerly, the frozen locus had its own damage and its own critical hit chance. It now does scale with your quarterstaff damage, and the explosion does scale with that as well, doing massive cold damage and freeze buildup. Now, since Hollow Palm already boosts your normal attacks a lot, it does the same for the Locus. And suddenly we have a skill that we can put down at level 1, bop bop, it explodes, freezes the whole screen, and now if you had the Herald of Ice at level 1 already, it would cause more chain explosions, killing whoever is left. And that further, as you play through the campaign, just has you on range, be able to put the Locust in front of your opponents that are surrounding you with a huge area, then boom boom, and the screen just dies. That's it. Any level in Act 2, the Dreadnought, Act 3, it doesn't matter. Frozen Locust just makes it better. Off to the last skill presentation, Shattering Palm, and then we're going to break the 1 to 65 down for you step by step. Shattering Palm zooms you forward to an opponent, then puts ice crystals on them, and if you do enough damage to those crystals, they explode outwards, doing massive damage. The Shattering Palm itself does damage. The crystals do damage, and since the crystals are causing cold damage freeze, there's going to be the Herald of Ice going off. And the Shattering Palm can be used together with your charged staff, which is now charged hands. So you're going to dash forward and ranged attack through everyone in front of you and apply these crystals. As you then kill the first one, it feels like the Herald Thunder and Ice combination again that used to chain react and clear whole screens. Only that you have one attack for it right now that you can spam. I don't even have to use Ice Strike. I could just go Shattering Palm, Shattering Palm, Shattering forward and pummel them all down. Act 1, your first 3 skills are Falling Thunder, Frozen Locust, and the Frost Bomb. Falling Thunder does not have to be used. It's a hit with AoE, but your normal quarterstaff attacks are equally as efficient, especially as you're using the Frozen Locust bop bop hit explosion. And that's already your gameplay loop for early clearing. Summon the Frozen Locust in front into your opponents, hit it twice, and they all die. Whoever survives gets a Falling Thunder in their face or a normal quarterstaff thwack. And the Frost Bomb is used to apply elemental exposure. Since we are doing Falling Thunder to apply shock, we have the Frozen Locust for the frost damage against bosses, and later we're going to have the Ice Strike. The Frost Bomb is an instant cast with bonus freeze that increases your damage. Brilliant. Our first two supports are going to be magnified area for the frozen locust that it hits wider parts of the screen, and rage for your quarterstaff strikes to boost your damage and the damage of the frozen locust, as the bonus rage applies here as well. Then with rapid attacks, we're going to make sure to build up rage faster and hit the frozen locust faster. And cold attunement boosts the damage of the locust with another 25% damage as extra cold damage, since the locust is all about converting all physical damage to cold damage. How are you using the frozen locust against bosses? You're going to quarterstaff strike them to build up a lot of rage. Then with your first tier 3 gem, you put down the bell. And as your full rage, the frozen locust will do a massive more damage. And it enables the bell early to also emit frost pulses. Therefore, hit bell locust and then bop, 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 bop into the bell. And for the Tempest Bell, you don't really have super good early support gems that you're going to take into the late game. Usually people would yell overabundance at you, but to be honest, the bell only has a duration of 6 seconds, so if you do overabundance, you already have to play prolonged duration on top, and that does actually not feel good anymore. In Act 1, I pretty much slapped an elemental armament on it, and that was it. With level 14, everything then gets super good. You're going to be picking up Ice Strike as your main attack, which moves the Rage and the rapid attacks from your quarterstaff strike over to the Ice Strike. And in the passive tree, we went through all the attack damage with more skill speed into intelligence, dexterity, whatever you need there, strength for your gems, over with minimal points to the Hollow Palm technique. One thing you can do before you rush to the Hollow Palm technique is put these 1, 2, 3, 4 points into the bonus damage from the concussive attacks, and as soon as you're in the 4-point range, as soon as you have reached this bonus attack damage, you can reset these to then travel to the Hollow Palm technique. Don't forget to unequip your quarterstaff. From now on, you're going to use your fists to pummel your opponents, and that instantly increases the damage of the locust with that magnified area exploding your whole screen, and of your Ice Strike. Summon the locust, Ice Strike it, boom. Summon the locust, Ice Strike it, boom. And as your first spirit skill, you're going to be picking up the Herald of Ice. Don't hesitate picking it right as you kill the King of the Mist, because you have the Frozen Locust already. You don't have to wait for the Ice Strike to actually use Herald of Ice. For the Herald of Ice, if you have 2 supports left, we're going to play Cold Attunement and also Magnified Area to just make those explosions beautiful and big. Your final skill points in Act 1 are all going to be used to boost your attack damage, right there and right here as well. Just get more damage. It's going to boost everything you do. Equipment wise, from the very beginning on, we're looking for flat bonus damage on gloves. 3 to 6 physical, 3 to 6 fire, whatever. Same goes for your rings. That's what you want to have. And then for your chest, helmet, and boots, evasion rating. Don't look for evasion rating energy shield. Just try to get the evasion rating up, because that leads to more attack speed. Since Hollow Palm technique, again, more attack speed, the more evasion rating your gear has. The bonus critical hit chance at this point is neglectable for pretty much just hitting faster. Keep in mind that Monk is still squishy and always ahead inside the opponents. Your Frozen Locust should help with mitigating that, as you can summon it before you even get to the opponents, and with the magnified area on range, you can explode them quite easily. In Act 2, your first goal will be to ascend as fast as possible, and since you don't have to look for a new weapon, your Hollow Palm just boosting everything, level 22, go for it, you're going to tear it apart. This leads to us going for an Invoker, and your first 2 points are going to be increased magnitude of chill you inflict and gain 10% damage as extra cold damage, plus on freezing enemies, create chilled ground. The main reason we're Invoker, I want the bonus spirit from Lead Me Through Grace, and later I want to play Scatter Them to the Winds with the elemental expression that triggers Ice Wave, Fire Explosion, and an Arcing Bolt with a melee critical hits. And Hollow Palm is going to work very wonders for that, giving us those melee critical hits. In Act 2, I would have usually added a Wave of Frost to the fray to shoot those waves forward, freeze everyone, and then shatter them with the Herald of Ice. But since Frozen Locust scaled so well with our damage and the Hollow Palm, I didn't need Wave of Frost, I didn't need Storm Wave, I didn't need any of this. It's literally Frozen Locust, pop, pop, poof, Frozen Locust, pop. It continues to be amazing. And bosses anyways get Ice Strike with Tempest Spell, Locust, Frostbomb for the elemental exposure. I mean, Jamanra has never been easier, that poor man. He's usually your check, is your build doing well? Well, now the question was, are you doing well, Jamanra, because someone is pummeling you with his fists? Your passive tree further goes in the direction of intelligence dexterity, simply picking up more damage nodes left, right, and center where you can find them, as well as more attack speed and increased evasion rating if you hit an enemy recently. Very useful. Do take strength nodes wherever you can if you don't need an intelligence or dexterity node to advance the skill further. More strength is just going to be a tad more life. And after reaching Agile Succession, my main goal was to get all the way to reaching strikes, because reaching strikes gives you a bonus melee strike range. And that is incredibly useful because sometimes you feel a bit short-handed because of the hollow palm technique. In Act 3, there are a couple of amazing things happening. We need to ascend with level 34, 36, recommend 36 because Monk can be on the squishier side. We're getting Charged Staff, Shattering Palm, and the bonus Spirit skill. For your second ascension, it's too early to get Lead Me Through Graze, and sundered by enemies, you're not really doing enough critical hits to ignore monsters' elemental resistances. What we could do is we could add a bonus lightning damage to the fray and have a 25% chance on shocking enemies to create shock ground. It pretty much doesn't hurt and simply does increase our DPS. After the ascension and picking up that 30 bonus spirit, making us 60 total, it's time to talk about Charged Staff and how we create the power charges for the Charged Staff, because you have two choices here. You could go for the good old Combat Frenzy. Freeze your opponents with hits and then pick up the Resonance Keystone to turn those Frenzy charges into power charges. And it does work very well with a Frozen Locus and especially with a Shattering Palm, because you're going to go in, Shattering Palm, Ice Strike, Vam, everything explodes, 3 power charges pretty much. Sometimes it is that easy. An alternative to that would be the Illusion skill. This creates an illusion as you roll, and if someone kills that illusion, you get a power charge. And with Charge Perfusion, even 2 power charges. Now the good thing about this illusion is you can pretty much roll into your enemies, they'll kill the illusion behind you, and then you instantly have the charge for the Charged Staff. The problem is, you actually have to do that with the rolling, where the Combat Frenzy just has you go forward and instant power charges. The illusion needs you to do things, right? It needs to do extra things. You need to consciously roll around to get that done. I tried out both, and I just ended up with the Combat Frenzy again. It's the simpler choice to go with for the leveling because of the Shattering Palm, because of the Frozen Locus. It simply works better. You want that Charge Perfusion then on the Combat Frenzy to create the additional charge. And for the Charged Staff, you want to have the prolonged duration, that it just lasts longer. And the Elemental Armament 2 for a bigger damage boost. With the Charged Staff, you're helping your little short range at times, and you can always hit your bell. Gameplay loop hasn't really changed. We're ice striking to get the power charges to use the Arch Staff, to still use the Frozen Locus in between for those bigger explosions, as you can put them still in front of your enemies. Especially in Uzul and later the Doriani areas, being able to summon that Locus in front of you against some of the annoying enemy types. Priceless. With your first tier 11 gem, you can then finally pick up the Shattering Palm. Dash to an enemy, strike them with an attack that manifests a wave of cold coating nearby enemies in shards of ice. That already does damage. The base attack does do actually damage. And then you have an explosion that converts all the physical damage to cold damage. Now the interesting part about Shattering Palm is it says can't be evaded. This means instead of playing Magnified Area and reducing the damage, you can play Overreach for a 40% increased area of effect. This will have it have 80% less accuracy rating against enemies within 2 meters. But it doesn't matter because the attack can't be evaded. So no matter how less accuracy rating I have, how few accuracy rating I have, it will always hit. It will always make the ice crystals. And then with a Charged Staff being applied to your hands, those ice crystals are going out further. And with the Overreach, even further. Everyone gets ice crystals. You're the Oprah Winfrey of monks now. Could play the Cold Attunement, could just put Elemental Armament on. Keep in mind, you always need enough strength to keep putting Elemental Armament on things. As you pick up a third gem for the Ice Strike, you want to add the Elemental Armament 2 support as well. And you might have noticed that our bell is still just sitting at Elemental Armament. That can upgrade it to Elemental Armament 2. Problem is that for the bell, I want tier 3 supports. I don't want any of the tier 1, I don't want anything of the tier 2 support. There's nothing that's really that good for the bell. What we want to have is Culling Strikes, that the bell gives us quicker kills against enemies around it. and close combat, and later the further close combats, because it's more damage against enemies close to the bell, and the bell is always summoned inside the boss. It's not summoned right next to the boss in the general vicinity of the... No, it's inside the boss. Ba 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 bell, ba 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 bell. Fantastic. Good thing with the Shattering Palm, Frozen Locus, and Ice Strike right now is that we don't actually need belts anymore for sturdier elites, because sturdier elites don't exist. If you have an actual rare mob inside of a lot of other mobs, due to hitting them with a Shattering Palm and then exploding everything with the Locus or normal Ice Strikes, and then the Herald of Ice also triggering and destroying all of that, they just die. They're not like, oh no, the rare survived and now I'm going to have to summon the bell. And no, especially against these abyssal events where they're all clumped up together. As soon as the abyssal starts pouring out of the middle, bomb, Shattering Palm in, explosion done. And in order to do that more elite damage, we're jumping more points into the attack, then mana leech, don't need that, and serrated edges for a 30% increased damage against rare or unique enemies. Because if I would need more damage, it's only against bosses, against nothing else. Afterwards, we're going down here on the side to the movement speed and evasion rating. More evasion rating doesn't hurt, makes me more tanky. And that's pretty much where I'm sitting with level 46 right now. And you might be confused about all this flat damage. Why not more crit because of the hollow palm technique? I will fully pivot into crit at level 65, as I then go into mapping. It's not a thing to do before because we're waiting to pick up then more energy shield gear where it makes sense to pick up that we can then boost the critical hit chance. But right now, defense-wise, I'm better off having some evasion rating to keep me alive, to help me survive the levels, instead of trying to mix and match some energy shield into the fray that I can't boost anyways meaningful. As you then get, though, more energy shield and evasion rating gear, you can pick up the evasion nodes at this point to just boost both of them. And I'm generally considering with my next points to at least get the 100% increased evasion rating from equipped body armor, as I right now just want to have a body armor with a lot of evasion rating, since that gives me the most possible attack speed, and doubling that value will just make me more sturdy. Another note to look out for is the bonus freeze buildup here, together with the essence of the mountain for another bonus freeze buildup and extra cold damage. And the same note, we kind of want all the way up here with thin ice and also heavy frost. That being said, that would be 2, 4, 6 points just to travel up, and another 3 to take these. That's 9 points right now. With these 9 points, I could already go down here, bottom left, next to escape velocity for another 32% increased elemental damage and 10, 8, and 25% of bonus damage as well. It's just simpler to go for these nodes early to flash things out, to pummel our lats harder, and then later, as we reach 65, to pivot these points over. We need to go up here anyways, as I want to have potentially the bonus critical hit chance. As we're then flashing out the deadly force, as we need to travel upwards in this direction instead of downwards here to get the bonus attack critical hit chance on top. But not right now. Right now it's just bad. It wouldn't help us that much. Rather head to the left from the escape velocity node as well for the dexterity or in attack damage, elemental damage, and elemental resistance penetration. Works wonders. And that's pretty much where we're going to be sitting at with 65, all these points. Support wise, you're looking to upgrade that rage all the way up to rage 3. Since rage 3 gives you 15% more attack speed if you're not at maximum rage yet. For rapid attacks, you never want to go over 2 because that would reduce our damage by 50%, and that's really not worth it. And on the Shattering Palm, we really want that Ancestral Call 1 as soon as possible. It's just going to make it have 30% more damage and another 25% increased area of effect. Amazing. Plus later, Ancestral Call 2, where it's every 3 seconds. That's actually huge. For our Ice Strike as a force support, we're looking desperately for Crescendo. Final strikes of supported skills can be performed twice in succession. Attacks with supported skills that are not the final strike have 15% more attack speed. Interesting, you're wholesale attacking faster. Then there's also Crescendo 3, and I don't think it's worth it, but final strikes of supported skill is ancestrally boosted. That would be a 30% attack bonus, multiplicative, and increased area of effect. The problem with Crescendo 3 is that Crescendo 2 makes you do more final hits faster and twice, while the Crescendo 3 only boosts the final hit. And I feel like having more final hits, more third hits faster, and then more of them is better than having them every now and then ancestrally boosted. The next big points after 65 will then be ascending to get yourself the Lead Me Through Grace, and add all the nasty support skills that will help you stay alive. The Ghost Dance, the Wind Dance for the bonus evasion, the Convalescence. But for that, we'll need to get to 65 and then show you the 65 plus version, and that's what I'm working on now. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say? Ice Strike Monk, Shattering Palm, does that seem interesting to you? My goal will be clearing whole screens just with that, using no other ability in mapping than Shattering Palm, and only in boss fights to unload the Ice Strike on those bosses. It should work. We're going to do everything to make this possible. Any questions? Leave them in the comments below. Need bonus help? Here are 2 videos that will boost your understanding of the game. Take care and have a fantastic good day.